I'm sure a lot of you know who Chef Mehta is, but I would like to quickly give an introduction so that people that are not familiar can get a little bit of a picture of who he is. Chef Mehta is a chef, restaurateur, and cookbook author with a lot of outreach and achievements. He is the chef and owner of Graffiti Earth, a restaurant he opened in 2007. He also has another restaurant, Metaphor, that opened in 2011. He has appeared on Iron Chef and Next Iron Chef as a contestant and was featured on multiple Food Network shows as commentators and judges, as well as multiple other outlets. He has been named Most Sustainable Chef in New York City by Michelin. He firmly believes that food is a communication tool to educate the world of this broken climate system, and that we should focus on the why and not the what. In this case, why being about empathy and compassion rather than what of the food he creates. He is also passionate about bringing wellness and healthy eating tactics to today's youth. And also he is a very kind and funny person. So without further ado, I give to you, Chef Jehangir Mehta.
Thanks, Alex, and welcome, guys. Firstly, if you have any questions, please write it, and we have people who could ask me that, and I will get back to you. So please interact, because that's the most important thing in terms of education, in terms of understanding whatever we are doing. Because if you do not question something, even if you think it to be right or wrong, whatever it might be, the point is only through questioning can we communicate, and through communication can we become an educated customer. So having said that, firstly, it was an amazing journey. Today, I only get to present 4, but I got over 70 items, ingredients, and products from Japan. And it was just very interesting to almost take them, manipulate them in a very different format, in a format which speaks to me more in terms of eclectic food, in terms of using a little heavy on spices, or going more towards the angle of pastry when it didn't have that product, wouldn't be a product that would be almost pushed into that bracket. So that's how I have tried to basically come up with these few dishes, as well as how I could educate a customer to think more differently than always thinking of something to be just a certain way of how it's had, or how mushrooms could almost give a much better umami to you through different mediums. And having said that, we're going to first start off with one of my favorite items, being mushrooms. Now, I do really like mushrooms, especially the shiitake. I think it has an amazing aspect of umami, but one of the most important reasons why I do like it is for the reason of it being one of the most sustainable food products on the planet. It takes way less water than any other vegetable, and definitely compared to meat. And with the aspect of how we are using our resources is very important in this day and age. So having said that, the first thing I always tell people, even at the restaurant, is take a moment, breathe. Because only through right breathing will you really understand the aspect of food. So as you have these beautiful shiitake, take them very close to you, rub them, smell it, close your eyes, and get that aspect into your body. Because when you do that, you will get a much better aspect of food. And that is how you will be able to cook better, because you will be able to understand the relationship of that product when you hold it in your hands, when you really smell that, take a moment, versus just going from one thing to another. Now, moving on, we are gonna go to one of the most interesting products, and you're also very lucky that we have Giovanni-san on the call. So if you have any questions regarding this product, and that is Natto. This was one of from the plethora of ingredients which were sent to me. This is one of my absolute favorites for one of the reasons, not only because of the product, but because of the health benefits to it, because of a very different type of umami that you have not actually tried and which you may have never experienced. And that is what I got out of this, which was one of the most fascinating and fantastic parts of this journey. So when you open this, if you just open your box up again, when you smell, I think one of the first smells that would come is a hint of peanut, a little bit of that mushroom coming through, that umami-ness. It's just such a different product that you may have never tried, and which is also very fascinating. And what was very fascinating about the natto was, I mean, first, the health benefits. It's a probiotic, so which is amazing, as you know how much the industry is all about having probiotic yogurt, which is good for your gut and all of that. And this can be got very, very easily and through a much faster probiotic, eating much a smaller quantity compared to the amount of yogurt that you might have had to have as a probiotic yogurt. So, and probiotics help the immune system, which is amazing. That is, again, the aspect of the health benefits coming through. Sorry, just give me a moment. We're going to start this off again. Let me just start the stove so it gets starts getting heated up. Of course, when you have the immune system good, your digestion improves. It is just almost take it as an aspect of a medicine, almost like a vitamin medicine, not as anything else, for your day-to-day behavior, to just do better for your gut. And when you have probiotics, one thing which is also very important is it helps digest heavier products. Like if you are a meat eater, it will help digest that meat much better. I mean, try and avoid red meat. That's one thing which I think, which is something I absolutely promote. And not only do I promote it, also because of the aspect of sustainability. On an average, 1 pound of meat, you need about 500 to 700 gallons of water to put 1 pound of meat on the table in America, which is a ridiculous amount of water consumption. So having said that, again, with the carbon emissions of beef, all of those together, let's avoid that. But let's not get into that today. Let's stick to where we are and let's get back to the natto. Now, they have 2 products, all right? They have one which over here on your packets, it will say reduced aroma and viscosity. So they have one which doesn't have the reduced viscosity. It is the real deal. Now with the real deal, it did change a little more of the flavor profile. Now, if you start liking the flavor profile, which I did, it doesn't bother me at all. But I think as an introduction to your palate, the reduced one would be a great way to go to the next step. And I'll talk about this. I'll continue with this in a second. I'm just going to add a little bit of olive oil here. Next, what we are going to do is, so we're going to make a chutney today. It's a coconut potato chutney that we're going to make today. And what I thought doing out here with this natto was how it can enhance that flavor as well as enhance the aspect of getting in those probiotics. So we've added the oil. Let's increase the flame a little bit. I like it a bit spicier, so this time I'm using Thai bird chilies to bring out the spice again. You could make it even spicier if you had taken these chilies and chopped it up. Here, I'm keeping them whole, so you get that very rounded aspect of spice, a good spice, but you will still get the other flavors. Now, if you chop them up, I think you will get predominant, you'll get that spice. So it all depends on where you want to take that flavor profile to. So we've added these chilies in here. Next, what we are going to do is we're going to add some lentils, which is an urad lentil, which is a white lentil, which we're going to add for some texture. If we give you that bite, you'll see this urad lentil get color very, very fast. At this point, right away, what we're going to do is we will add the coconut. Now, this is fresh coconut, which is grated, dried coconut, which is fresh, but which is grated. And that's what is when the coconut becomes brown, we're able to grate that coconut. And then, and you'll see the moisture is still there in the coconut. We're going to add that right in here. We are going to next, what we'll do is.
Chef, can I stop you for a second? We have a question about the product.
Sure.
Do you know what are the ingredients of this product? Would you like to answer that, or should Giovanni-san answer that?
Ingredients of the natto?
Of the natto powder, I believe.
Okay, so natto powder is basically soya beans, which are made with the natto, which is basically, as it will say, Bacillus. I think it says on their product, Bacillus subtilis. Okay, and that is what this natto powder is. But I would love if Giovanni wants to hop in here and give some more information regarding this and how the dish can enhance itself. So I'll be very happy if Giovanni wants to jump right in and give a little more information about the natto. Hi, Giovanni-san.
Hi, thank you very much.
Not at all. So nice to hear your voice again.
Very happy to be with you. Finally, such a great thing. Thank you for the question. So basically, natto is just fermented soybeans. And that's a very good, important thing because many products have add salt and other things. But our natto is basically 100% pure. We just ferment the soybeans with Bacillus subtilis. And after that, we freeze dry the product for increasing the bacteria amount. This is one difference between the powder and raw natto. The powder has 320 times more natto bacteria, so it's a very potent probiotic. And that's all. After that, we just grind the dry natto and package. So basically, it just has that, fermented soybeans and Bacillus subtilis. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So at this point, the two things that I did out here is I added the potatoes. Now the potatoes were initially boiled. All I've done is just cut them up in some cubes, medium-sized cubes. I've added the natto powder, and I am just trying to saute this up to get that aspect of the natto going in there. And one thing that I did notice with natto was when you add a little more lime, the flavors of whatever you're cooking, lime, lemon, any acid, I found when I was playing with it, I found that that same product, so say if you were making something spicy, you could get the spice even more. If you were trying to get something which was more sour, the sourness came out more. It just was really, really fascinating. With just a little more acid to a dish, the flavors are much more pronounced. And that was in my experimentation with this powder. And it was a very fascinating experiment that I could manage getting myself doing. And so at this point, again, we are just gonna take this out. And so we've got the natto covered here. And again, I feel from the products that you've got, this was something which was a learning experience, which will be a learning experience for you, which would be a palate and experience for you, because it is a flavor that most of us Americans are not used to it. And I think for the best reason being, that it's a great, great product for your body, for having the probiotics, for improving your immune system, for getting better digestion going. I would really, really suggest to definitely try it. And the recommendation is taking about 1.5 grams a day, and do it on a continuous basis, and you could see the difference that your body will, how your body will react to it, how your body, if your digestion works better, how everyday aspects of how you're consuming food would be so much easier on your intestines. So moving along, the next.
Before we move along, Chef, can I ask you a question?
Sure, absolutely, Alex. You can ask at any point.
So the question is that if you could please list the ingredients of the dish you just created, if you could.
Sure, absolutely. So first what we did was I put about a tablespoon of olive oil in the pan. After that, I added the 2 Thai chilies. Again, as I said, the chilies are completely up to you. If you are a person who can't handle the spice, add only 1. If you feel that the Thai chili is too strong for you, add a jalapeno. If you feel jalapeno doesn't work for you, don't add anything. So we added 2 Thai chilies in here. After that, we added the lentil, which will give you that nice crunch to the white urad lentil, which we added about a teaspoon or so. We let that brown, just turn color more than anything, not even brown. We just let it turn color a bit. Once that happened, we added in the coconut, which was fresh coconut, which was grated. And finally, then next when the potatoes were boiled and they were just diced up. Last, I added the natto, a little bit of salt actually, and then a little natto. With the natto, you could go a little less on the salt, which is also a great thing. And how you can cut down on the sodium. So that is what we added, and this is like a potato chutney that you could use alongside fish. You could use it alongside another vegetable if you like, or with a flat bread. It would be very, very complementary.
Oh, there's one more. Do you think everyone living in the US can incorporate and use Japanese ingredients to their daily diet?
I think there is no rules that are written that we cannot do what we wish to do. I think that is one thing that you need to know in life. You are the person who makes your life. Don't let someone else write your history. You write your own history. It is how you wish to take that ballot, how you wish to lead your life, what you wish to believe in. It's all about yourself. Because if you're just going to do what someone else says so, that's the only way how division happens in this world. And God has given you a mind, your family has given you the virtues and the values to believe in. I think it's for yourself to now absorb that information and then make the collective, the right thing, whatever you want to do in life, whatever your beliefs in life in terms of sexuality, it could be in terms of your religion, it could be in terms of politics, whatever it might be, you must listen to everyone. I mean, I'm a big Democrat, but I will still listen to Fox News because I want to know why do people think this way? Why are they so different from my thinking? But I won't know that if I only listen to CNN. I won't get that information. That understanding is, why do they behave in this fashion? That other group that I don't seem to resonate towards. So it is always good to listen to both sides, because only then through compassion you will have an attribute of understanding why people behave a certain way. And compassion, gratitude, all of those things happen when you absorb other people's likes, other people's dislikes, other people's behavioral patterns, understand another culture, because only when you understand another culture do you understand how you can make a difference in your own life. And food is one of the best ways to bring people together, and there are no rules which can be said, this just can't be done. Things could just not be done till someone else did it. So it's the same way.
May I ask you a question?
Absolutely, Alex.
Do you have, what kind of inspired you to get into creating food or going into this world of cuisine?
For me, even today, it doesn't matter to me if it's food or if it is making hats or if it is designing a room. I think what I always wanted to do was I want to do something creative with my hands, with my mind, with my imagination to get happiness with humans. So even today, it won't matter to me if I had to design rooms, because that could give happiness. I can understand the philosophy of that human, understand where that human is coming from, what they are looking for, and how I can create it to give them that personalization, that aspect of happiness through a medium that comes through my hands, my brains, my imagination. And so food just is one medium. I don't see it. I designed all the restaurants myself. I paint. For me, it's just one medium that just fell into it where I made a living. I don't see myself constrained to just one way of functioning.
What kind of image do you have for Japanese ingredients?
I think a very high image. I think this is one thing. I think it's right from anything. Like, I mean, just look at this. We are known for macaroni and cheese, but does our macaroni come so beautifully packaged? It doesn't. All right. Look at the smallest things like that. I think the aspect of our dressing bottles, you know, even the ready-made dressings that we buy, most of the time it's a much larger pour, basically. So you are always using much more. That's one thing. Next thing is that if it has a bigger surface area, it's getting oxidized more. Here, something like this, one cap. Over this one cap, there's another. I'm not. It's right here. There's another cap to keep it even less from the environment and keep it more airtight. The smallest things of something like this natto powder, how it was packaged again, and something which is completely sustainable with a Ziploc. Most of our products that we see, it's plastic, in which we would get something very similar to this in this country. So it's a small attention to detail items, I think, from the packaging to finally to the making, right from how this gentleman didn't say, oh, let me make scallion dressing by just getting any scallions would grow in Japan. It's the same scallions that grow on their farm. It's how they have managed really. So showcasing that aspect of history, showcasing that 5 generation aspect with the sawmill. It just, there is the stories that build up and which you can talk about is so fascinating and so amazing. And I think those things, not every culture can manage getting to you. And I think when you have a story, you have a better way of understanding a product, a more compassionate aspect of really getting to know that ingredient. And I think when you have that, it assimilates into a cuisine or assimilates into a different culture much better, I feel. And I think the Japanese are very proud of what they portray, how they portray themselves, the aspect of, and I think we as a culture, because of that, like Americans and people around the world, have also treated them as very elegant, that the aspects of beauty, the aspects of that tradition, all that I think is so amazingly packaged by this country, by their people, by their behavior, that I think all that makes it a fascination for us to also gravitate towards it. And so I feel that the aspect of transitioning would be much, I think it's more a fascination on our side than their aspects of trying to promote it. I think we are here to just absorb it and make the most of it.
Big thank you to Mr. Jehangir Mehta. Thank you very much for joining us. It was an honor and pleasure to have you here. And of course, thank you for the producers, the creators of these products to be in the chat to answer these questions and ask questions as well. And thank you very much for all of you to joining us. We will be, if you have any questions, you can email us at info@resobox.com. That link will probably be posted in the chat box. There you can ask questions, you can connect with the products and the people that made these products. So please don't hesitate to contact us. And other than that, thank you very much for participating, and I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Any closing remarks, Mr. Mehta?
Not at all, but again, arigatou gozaimasu.
Thank you very much, and have a good night.